Protests turn back.
Grand Rapids is on fire.
All of them are completely smashed in.
Trembling all over. I've never experienced anything like this.
Riot gear ready to go.
Control your officer!
You go to get your coffee and you look out the window and there's National Guard.
I'm gonna get emotional.
Hundreds of people came downtown to clean up. All covered with the most beautiful murals.
Light was shed onto this. This is change in motion.
So 2020 was an intense year on so many different levels, and especially for people who work in news, reporters, anchors. A lot of people who've been in the business for like 40 years have said that this is the craziest year that they have ever worked, especially in Michigan. We covered an insane amount of stories. We had Midland being flooded. We had the Michigan governor, an attempted plot to kidnap the governor. We had coronavirus.
We start this morning with an update on the number of positive cases of coronavirus in Michigan.
So I wanted to have my roommate and co-worker Savannah Fish do this with me because you were there with me for the whole year.
I sure was. It was an insane year, like you said. I mean, the amount of stories and the amount of news and change in the world, not only just in Michigan, but like across the world. I feel like 2020 was just like packed full of that. Yeah. But here we are in 2021 and we made it.
We made it, baby. This vlog, specifically this video, we wanted to talk about events going on in May, and specifically, so we live in downtown Grand Rapids, Michigan. Obviously, we live downtown. We work at Fox 17 News. Oh my gosh. Right outside of our windows is where a lot of the rallies were going on, the protests were going on, and eventually in May, what would be the Black Lives Matter protests that turned into riots, that turned into a cleanup.
Yes, a lot was going on. And literally, right outside this window, if you look down, that's where all the action was happening.
It was really insane. At one point, right outside on the corner, we could look down, we had the National Guard posted up. So like you wake up in the morning, you go to get your coffee and you look out the window and there's National Guard.
So should we start with the story about the night that it like broke out the riots?
Yeah, okay, another reason I had to do this video with Savannah is because we both covered that night, and at that time I was one of 2 weekend anchors and you were the weekend reporter. Biggest night potentially of our reporting careers.
Huge.
I would have missed it if it wasn't for Savannah.
So I went to bed. I think that you...
Yeah, I'll just be honest.
Yeah, let's just be honest about this. I'm now remembering what actually happened.
That's why. So per COVID, my co-anchor Brody and I, we were taking turns in studio. So it was my remote weekend. So that means I would Zoom into the show. I didn't go in person per COVID. And just to be really honest, like we just told you guys, we had the National Guard outside. There were rallies going on every night. We go to bed at like 7 p.m. I wasn't falling asleep because it was so loud outside. My anxiety, personally, I told you this with other producers, my anxiety was high. I was really starting to feel like anxious.
It felt like every single day you were on the set of a movie. It didn't feel real.
Yeah, because we would go out, and we're reporters, so we would go outside and we would cover it all day. And then living downtown, I don't know how you felt about this, but it's like other people probably went to like a quiet subdivision home or something. We stayed downtown, so it was 24 hours a day that you were in the middle of this.
Yeah, it's something that almost like you see on CNN and it doesn't really impact you and you don't really process it, but it's like, it's happening out there. And not only were we watching on TV, reporting on it, but like we could look outside our window and it was happening right there. So we were really in the mix of it.
Yeah, the point is that I started having a lot of anxiety, and so my boyfriend lives in the Metro Detroit area, which is about 2 hours away. So I called my producer and I said, hey, I'm remote tomorrow. My weekend starts after tomorrow. I am gonna go to my boyfriend who lives in a subdivision just to try to like be remote and clear my head. I told him.
So we're thinking this is gonna be a normal Sunday. Sarah's gonna be able to start her weekend a little bit early from the comfort of her boyfriend's home, so she can just work in the morning like she would here, you know, having a normal morning.
Yes. So I mean, tell me about waking up that morning. I'm not here.
On the 30th, Saturday afternoon, really, when I'm getting ready to go to bed, I see the National Guard. There's men and women in SWAT team uniforms, basically, like
tanks,
riot gear, ready to go. Tanks at the intersection, literally right below our apartment, just preparing for anything that might happen.
Which I didn't think, I also left because Grand Rapids is a pretty quiet town.
Right.
Things were going on in Louisville. I thought there was no way things got out of control here.
It was almost like a precautionary thing. We saw all this stuff going on, but never did we think it could happen in Michigan, in Grand Rapids. So, you're gone. I am getting ready for bed. I'm on FaceTime with my boyfriend. And I'm telling him, I'm like, wow, like look at all these people. There was so much color outside from like signage, people, you know, carrying flags and protesting. There was so much color in the streets. They were filled. People were chanting. It was unlike anything I don't think I've ever experienced a protest like that in my life or career. Truly, like people's voices were roaring. It was echoing throughout the city. So I'm peeking outside this window looking at all of it. I'm like, I gotta go down there just to like see what this feels like.
Be a part of it. Be a part of that.
I just basically stepped out my door and there was other people kind of standing by watching as well. All of these people peacefully protesting. I mean, there was people honking their horns and shouting, and it was honestly pretty amazing. So I went to bed with that image in my mind. Peaceful, I mean powerful protests. Went to bed. I slept like a baby that night. I went to bed, I was like, this is amazing. This is change in motion. These people out there. So go to bed. I wake up to the sound of my phone ringing. I'm thinking it's my alarm or my producer telling me I slept too much. And Chris Bovia, bless her, frantic.
She's also like a night person. Usually she wouldn't call us.
So she's at the assignment desk. She's an assignment desk editor. I think the first thing she said was, Grand Rapids is on fire. You have to get outside. There's riots. Grand Rapids is on fire. What? Yeah. My fan is going, so I still have my white noise situation going on, so I turn off the fan and I'm like, Chris, what's going on? Protests turn bad. Protests turn bad.
Hey! Control your officer!
Grand Rapids is on fire, and there's so much ringing and like commotion going on in the background too. So I come out into the living room where we are now, look out my window, what was once peaceful protests, you know, very impactful and inspiring. Yes. I look out the window, I see an orange glow in the air. Literally, I felt like I was on a movie set, and black SWAT gear.
But just like arm to arm trying to block off, because we live here, right? A block away, we can see it.
Yes.
It's Grand Rapids Police Department. So they're all lined up here because they're trying to block off the police department.
Yes.
You can see those SWAT teams still blocking off the barrier to GRPD.
So I get this call from Chris. I'm getting ready and I'm like, oh my God, Sarah's not here. Sarah's not here?
My dumb went to Detroit.
And I'm like, and I'm trying to do things so quickly. I'm trying to like catch up on what's been happening all night. I'm trying to do my makeup so I look halfway presentable. But I'm like, oh my God, I gotta call Sarah. I call you. I think I called you maybe twice. You answered.
Okay, because from my perspective, I could not fall asleep in Detroit, pop some melatonin, had a glass of wine, finally get knocked out. She's like in town falling asleep at 6. I'm out of town, awake till 11. I get a call. It must have been like 1 or so. I am asleep and I hear my phone go off, and thank God I answer it. And I'm so out of it. You gotta imagine, you know, it's like 1 a.m. I answer the phone and it's Savannah. Grand Rapids is on fire. You need to be here now. Worst nightmare. Worst. You literally were. Yeah. Grand Rapids is on fire. You need to be here right now. What?
I literally couldn't explain myself because I was in a rush as well. So I'm like, Sarah, protests turned ugly, riots in motion, you gotta get here.
Grand Rapids is on fire really sticks out to me. And I've never ever, we had been remote, I had never ever left town.
Yeah.
I never will again.
One time she does.
I never will again.
Yeah.
I've had opportunities since and I'm like, no. So I am 2 hours away and I'm also thinking, this is historic. I need to be there. I need to report. I called people in to be the anchors so we could all report.
Right.
So I literally am in my pajamas and I pick up all my stuff, like literally just in my hands. I don't even put it in a bag, and I just go to run out to my car. And then thankfully my boyfriend's a weirdo and was just sitting in the dark in the living room. I remember walking down the stairs. I had red eyes.
Sleep, obviously.
No, yeah. Crazy like hair, all my stuff in my arms. I'm literally already crying. What is wrong with me? Why did I go to Detroit? I have all my stuff and I walk down. He's in the living room. What are you doing?
I'm leaving you.
Grand Rapids is on fire. That's not funny. Grand Rapids is on fire. I need to get Grand Rapids. And thank God, honestly, he was like, well, you're a wreck. You look crazy.
Yeah.
I'm driving you. No way. Yes, I'm driving you. Let's go. We hop in his car. Thank God, I don't know what I'd do if he didn't drive me. I'm still in my pajamas.
I think that you were just processing the one thing that could have happened that's happening. You know what I mean? It's like, I gotta get there. I need to be there now.
Exactly. And I think when you are a reporter, you go into this career, you do it because
of moments like this.
Yeah, you want to cover history, you want to do your job, you want to be there.
But she got here.
Thank God. My whole point is, thank God Savannah called me, because yeah, I wouldn't have gotten there so quick, so thank you.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Thank God.
Honestly, wait, just to backtrack a little bit. I'm happy I remembered.
I always wake up to a phone call.
I'm gonna grab my coffee.
Okay, so we both make it to downtown Grand Rapids. Talk about what you saw when you went down.
So I walk out our apartment building.
Yeah, good morning, you guys. We're here off of Pearl Street in downtown Grand Rapids. I know that one of our reporters was out here while these were on fire. You can see these charred cars.
First thing I see to my right is the SWAT team. People rushing by. They see that we're the news, shouting at us. You kind of expect that. It was scary.
And this is a great thing for everyone to know who's watching this. We work for Fox 17 News out of Grand Rapids, but your local Fox affiliate isn't Fox News. Our employer is Scripps Broadcasting. Something for me that night, and honestly this whole year, is people see Fox 17 and oh, F you or whatever, Fox News. Well, your Fox affiliate isn't Fox News.
Depends on the person. Obviously, like some people are like, thank God Fox, or it's
very
the
true.
other side.
You go to a Trump rally and sometimes they love you.
And the city of Battle Creek has been preparing for this visit from President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence for weeks now. Guys, you're pretty excited for today?
Everyone in the newsroom has
they just see the logo on the mic flag.
It just is a little pet peeve. Your Fox affiliate is not necessarily Fox
Your
News.
local news station, if they report locally in your community, it's not opinion-based news.
It doesn't work like that for local news. Now you know.
Chico, you know.
Yeah.
Where were we? Oh, yeah, I see the SWAT team to my right, people rushing by. Dan flips up the light. I am standing on the sidewalk. There's people literally running up and down both sides of the streets. There's police officers in the center. I see a guy picks up a stop sign, smashes it into a window of a local business, like arm's length in front of me. So that was kind of what I was going to focus on. Hey, look at this guy smashing out the windows behind me and all the chaos going on behind me. I finally hear my producer. They're scrambling back in the control room as well. I mean, we were going from live shot to live shot to live shot.
We're going to toss it back to you or whichever reporter is out here in Grand Rapids.
No planned stories like how we normally have a rundown.
And usually news does have like a planned story commercial breaks. There's none of that.
We're just streaming. So they're counting me down. Anchor's tossing to me. As soon as the anchor tosses to me, somebody smashes over Dan's camera, almost knocks him over. I'm like, what is happening? I want to make sure both of us are safe. He thankfully picks it back up and I'm live. So I just kind of was reporting what was going on. These officers were throwing tear gas because these people were bashing out windows with stop signs and again, like right in front of you, which you saw. And it was crazy.
It's just insane because we live downtown, so you walk around every day and it's so peaceful in Grand Rapids. So Monroe Center is the main stretch. And throughout the morning, once the morning team was all there, it was myself, Savannah, and Brody. We were the reporters, 5 hours straight. They just rotated live on TV. Savannah live, Sarah live, Brody live, Savannah live, Sarah live.
And they were like, stretch, don't stop,
like
stretch,
7 minutes of you just walking around. People would run up to you. People would say stuff. This is not normal for local news.
No. You have a time limit, and if you exceed that, they're like rap.
People swearing.
Spray paint 12 on a cop car.
Right, well, let's not swear.
Excuse me.
People don't swear on local news, hardly ever.
That was something that we had to say before we started to interview anybody.
Yes.
It was, okay, I'll interview you, but you cannot swear.
So as long as you don't swear, this is live TV.
I'd swear, but...
Spray paint 12 on a cop car.
Also, there are so many people that were out just to watch.
Have you been destroying property tonight or?
No, absolutely not. Just come down to check things out.
The first people I talked to when I got to town, I asked them, what are you doing out here? What have you seen? And they were younger kids. Most of the people out were younger kids. And they said, oh no, we just came to check this out. Pretty wild.
So in the middle of the night?
In the middle of the night, we came out here to see it all.
Also, like, technical issues were the biggest struggle that day. Something was going on with my stick mic, which is like what you see with like the logo on it and you hold it. So I had to use a lav mic, which is something that you pin on like your dress or your suit coat. And I was like walking around holding the stick mic, but like with the wire of the lav, trying to act like my stick mic worked.
I didn't know that.
And at one point I was like, I can't do this. So I just gave Dan the stick mic and I was just interviewing people with the lav like this. You have to get resourceful.
High tech.
Local news for you.
But in all seriousness, I think once we were all taking turns, Savannah, Brody, and myself, a lot of us were walking up and down Monroe Center. That's like the main stretch, which I think as part of it now is named Breonna Taylor. They renamed it this spring, but at that time it was just Monroe Center. And I swear I say this exactly in my live shot. It was remarkable. I mean, business after business.
Business after business. All of them are completely smashed in.
Every single window was smashed in, and they were already suffering from COVID-19. You see these business owners coming out, and you're just like...
Because no one thought that this would happen here.
What is the emotion that you're feeling right now?
I think I'm in a state of shock. Yeah, I am. I'm trembling all over. I've never experienced anything like this, so I don't really know how to respond.
Do you remember, did people board up before? I don't think that they did. Now that is a common thing. If there's a protest, if there's a big event in politics, you see businesses board up their business because they don't want that to happen again. Alarms going off, security alarms going off.
And I want you guys to join me right here. You can still hear the alarm going off in the building.
Cinco de Mayo footage that we have, and you can see people like trying time after time to smash into there.
City Hall, the courthouse.
From the prosecutor's office and stuff, people stole documents, people stole computers.
You're looking at someone's office. I don't want to get too close because of the glass, but you can see the alarm's still going off in the background. Check out all of those files.
And people just yelling nasty things.
I heard that, you nasty.
Yeah.
You little nasty.
I know for our competitor news station, one of their photographers, I believe, got attacked, and their reporter was crying on air.
There was that, and then also, I mean, this would have happened to any news studio that was downtown, but they have a studio downtown, and they smashed and like destroyed that studio.
The news station Wood TV8, their station here just outside of Rosa Parks Circle, destroyed.
And I think like the saddest thing is the peaceful protests, the cause, the change happening.
The people are too silent and we need to be able to stand up.
The good change happening, being drowned out by like all this hate of people that aren't even a part of their mission.
And then it was so few people who turned it into something so ugly and hateful.
These people are opportunists, but the best part is a little bit of karma because a lot of those people got photographed throughout the news day and by photographers out and about capturing
surveillance cameras too.
Yeah, a lot of people, they got time.
So Savannah was smart. Before we started this video, we both had posts that we did on social media, and she was like, we should bring those up to get back in that mindset, remember?
Yeah.
I'm glad we did, because I remember I wrote on mine, the silver lining of the day was seeing the cleanup of Grand Rapids by volunteers starting no less than 3 hours after the riots. And it filled downtown. It was people of all races, ages, and genders coming together to rebuild our city. So
yeah,
that was so cool, so quickly. It actually started off, I remember interviewing them with a couple bouncers from a local club.
Your team from the intersection is out here this morning, already cleaning up this mess.
Yes, ma'am. We love the city. We're not really happy with what we saw. A lot of us are actually protesting with everybody earlier today, or yesterday.
And then so quickly, hundreds of people came downtown to clean up. Hundreds.
It was like the biggest switch. As soon as the sun started to come out, it was like the darkness was taken away. Light was shed onto the city. Seriously,
it really
people just started walking into the city, downtown Monroe Center, with brooms.
Hundreds.
Just like, how can I help? They saw what was happening overnight. I swear, there might have been more people filling the streets to help clean up than there was people tearing up the city.
Way more. I'm literally getting chills remembering this. Both of us have all this footage. The mayor was coming down, the city manager, we had all of them live on TV.
I'm very, very disappointed in those who caused this mayhem.
There was a Facebook event within like 2 hours, and it had thousands of people joining it. Everything was cleaned up crazy fast.
I'm gonna get emotional. It's crazy how a community can come together when destruction happens. A flip can happen.
Yeah.
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 Being in the midst of it was a lot, but genuinely I'm so grateful that we have been downtown and witnessed all of that, because I think it forced both of us to think more about racism than we ever have and really look into ourselves more. It's just kind of wild. I talked to people later in the day and they're like, oh, stuff happened. They were so out of it, and I felt like we were so deeply affected.
I remember when we just kind of started writing down our experience as far as like what we posted, but it was almost very therapeutic. This was a terrible season in Grand Rapids history. However, it did flip a switch and start conversations, which I think is the most important thing. Stay woke, Grand Rapids.
Little nasty.
Let's talk about the boarded up murals?
Yeah, so all of the businesses, all of their glass was smashed. So they boarded up their businesses, and then within a week, artists just slowly started to paint on all of the boarded up businesses. All of Monroe Center that all got smashed, and like the businesses around it were all covered with the most beautiful murals. I still follow some of the artists from them on Instagram. That was so cool to walk around weeks later and it was like a sunny summer day.
It even brought the community together even more and starting more conversations. Made me happy.
My favorite artist, I want to give her like a little shout out, has the most beautiful work.
Portrait art by Jamari Taylor.
Yes, thank you. I just did a vlog where I messed up someone's handle, so I need
Jake's
Savannah. If you ever need a YouTube to look up, Jake's Takes is a great one. Jake's Steaks. Grid Steaks.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think Grand Rapids came out the better end for it.
I thought it was gonna be like a quick story, then once we started talking.
Another therapy session.
Woo! Yeah.
I'm exhausted. It's gonna be fun to edit.
It's gonna be a pain to edit.
But she's doing it for you guys.
Just because the protests are over right now doesn't mean the conversation is still very much happening. BlackLivesMatter.org, you can get apparel there to support the movement. You can learn more about the movement. They have a lot of different ways that you can get involved and learn.
And watch your local news.
People usually who watch these videos are asking me about getting into news. You will have a voice if you do get into local news to really make a difference locally and to help out businesses and tell those stories. So if that's something you're passionate about, then go for it.
If you want to be in news, be prepared for the worst. We should cut that out.
Thank you guys for hearing it out. This was kind of like a little therapy session.
It was, yes.
Thanks for waking me up.
You're welcome. We had a long year, but here we are in 2021. We made it.
We're still standing. Dun, dun, dun,
We made it.
We're still standing.